you. Let me hear because this is the part where I have fun with you guys trying to pronounce the name of the tour.
Okay.
The X, as in front of the word, is pronounced like SH, like the shoe on your feet. So the name of the tour, the site that we're going is Shoe-nan-two-nitch.
Xunantunich.
Roll with us.
To Belize, Shoe-nan-two-nitch.
It's the tallest point of Castillo.
Come this way, folks.
What did you say? My head hurts.
Let's go around. First of all, let me give you a warm welcome to the archaeological site of Xunantunich. Okay? So what we're gonna be visiting today is only one part of the site, which is this area. We're gonna be visiting today. Okay. The site covers an area of 3.5 kilometers squared all around from the center of the city. This is the epicenter of the city. This is what the Mayas call downtown. Okay? Here's where everything happens. A wedding day, a market day, political rallies were done here at the center of the city. Okay? 32 buildings have been found at the center of the city with 3 plazas. Plazas are open space that were used for social gatherings, social events. Okay? To the north, we have the residential palace, where the ruler, his family used to live.
Wow.
The Mayas built the city according to the alignments of the stars. The Mayas found that Venus is to the north. For the Mayas, Venus represents power. So what they did, they built the residential palace facing north. To the south, we have El Castillo. That big building was once used as a temple. Okay? Archaeologists found that Xunantunich was a ceremonial and a trading center. The Mayas did human sacrifice for important events, like a royal birth. They select, they bring captives. During that event, he will be offered as an offering for a specific god. Okay? We have the west and we have the east. To the east, we have 3 buildings that were built in alignment. They are known as the Eastern Triatics. These buildings were mostly used for agricultural purposes. Okay? Here's where the Mayas commemorate the sunrise. But what the Mayas study is that you can see the sun is on this corner of this building. It will take 365 days for the sun to move from this corner to the other corner.
Oh, wow.
To the last building. 90 days in between each building.
Wow.
Okay? So what they did, what they create,
Calendar.
the Mayas create a calendar. Okay? A calendar of 18 months and 20 days each. And they believe that there are 5 days extra, which the Mayas call it the unlucky days, the dangerous days. We call it today
Leap year?
the leap year.
Yeah.
See? Okay? So June 21st, the sun rises at the center of this building, which shows the beginning of the summer solstices. 90 days it will move to the center building will be September, which will be a fall equinox. And 90 days it will go to the last building will be December, the beginning of the winter solstices. Then the sun goes back to the center again until March. March 24th and 22nd, spring equinox.
Bless you.
Okay? So this building was mostly used for the Mayas to know when the time to clear the land. The Mayas practice what they call slash and burn. We still practice it today. Okay? Archaeologists make a survey to the site and they found that the population of Xunantunich was from 10 to 12,000 Mayans living on this area. But only the high class live here at the center of the city. Only during important events, the commoners were allowed to enter to the city during a market day. Okay? So that long building you see to the back, that's a long administrative building. That's where they collect an amount of tax, where you use the area or the space you use for that market day. Okay? 50 meters from the center we have the middle class. The Mayas were divided in social classes. We have the high class, the middle class, and the low class. Okay? So the middle class were the merchants, scribes, artisans, warriors, governors. These people are related to the high class. Okay? They have power, they have money, they are rich. Through the process of commerce, they become important. Okay? The low class live farther, they live all around the city. They were the commoners, the farmers, and they don't live on buildings made of limestone. What the low class do, they build elevated platforms, thatch houses, roofs were made of palm leaves. Xunantunich was settled roughly around 400 BC before Christ, but as a village. If you notice, when we move from the ferry, we start to move up the hill, okay? This is one of the pointed mountains around the plateau. The Mayas, 600 AD, they decided to level the mountain. That's why you see it's flat, then it drops, flat. And with the same material from the mountain, the Mayas use it to make or to build this city. Everything that you see here, guys, is made of limestone, and there are solid buildings. What the Mayas also discovered? What did the Mayas use to bind the material? The Mayas studied the limestone, and they found it contains a calcium. Okay? So what they did, they burned the limestone. To make it stronger, what they did, they add ashes from trees. When the Mayas add water, it hardens. What they get, they create their own concrete. Okay?
Wow.
So these are solid buildings. The only building that is hollow is the last part of El Castillo, where you see those windows there. That's the last occupation of Xunantunich. 900 AD, all these cities were abandoned. Okay? Archaeologists have found evidences why the Mayas abandoned their cities. First, they believe the Mayas, they overpopulate. They overcultivate the land. They deplete the forest. And what they cause? They cause a climate change. Okay? So from 850 to 900 AD, the Mayas went to a time of no rain. The Mayas became desperate. Okay? So what they did, they started to focus on human sacrifices. But they never did the human sacrifice here at the site. They decided to do it inside of caves, because the Mayas believed that caves were the entrance to the underworld. Okay? Now the name Xunantunich is not the original name of the site. That name comes from a legend dating to 1886, when one of the first shaman of the village where I live across the river. And that small village over there, it's a Mayan community. We're 50% Mayan and 50% Spanish. Okay? So the shaman that lives in that village, dating to 1886, came across the river hunting, but imagine on those days the city was covered with vegetation. Okay? So he entered between El Castillo and the last building, which represents December 21st. Okay? There's an open space. From a far distance, this gentleman saw the image of a Mayan lady. The way he described it, with a long black hair covering his face, a long white dress covering his feet. Have you seen this movie, The Ring? Okay? This scary movie. Okay? So this gentleman, that's the way they describe it. A long black hair covering his face, a long white dress. But when he got closer, he noticed that the lady was about a feet from the ground. She was in the air. She was floating. Okay? The closer he gets, this lady disappeared. So he gets so frightened and ran back to the village. Later, a group of them came back. They want to see the lady. But when they came here, there was no lady. So what this gentleman saw, probably it was a spirit or a ghost. Okay? So the villagers where I live, the elderlies, they're Mayans, so they decided to give a Mayan name to the site. So they decided to name it Shoe-nan-two-nitch. Shoe-nan-two-nitch has two meanings. Shoe-nan means woman. Tu-nitch means stone. And they decided to name it Stone Woman or Stone Lady. Okay? But in 2004, archaeologists, you see the end of the steps there? There's a pathway. Archaeologists were clearing and they found a piece of stone about this size with hieroglyphic writings. Okay? Nikolai Gruber, he's a German epigrapher. He was brought to Belize to decipher what the Mayas write on this piece of stone. And he found the original name of the site. The original name of the site in Maya is Katwitz. Katwitz means clay mountain. That's the original name of the site in Maya. Okay? Let's take a look at this building over here. Any idea you have about this building? This building was a shrine. A shrine is a place where they conduct offerings and sacrifices. This round stone is an altar. This slab of stone is what we call a stela. Here's where the Mayas, they will depict images of their gods. Okay? The sun god, the moon god, the ceremonial plaza. Let me explain you why it's a ceremonial plaza. But before that, you can take your pictures. So, but take a look at the Mayas. The Mayas don't have no amplifiers. But take a look at the building, how they're constructed. You see that guy was clapping there? Okay? Because the echo goes all around. The acoustic. Okay? So from the top, you can hear those guys speaking down here. You can hear clearly. Okay? This building has 13 levels of modern construction. Okay? The Mayas view heaven with 3 sub-layers. They believe that it has heaven, the earth, and the underworld. But they believe to go to heaven, it has 13 levels. 13 days it took for a ruler when he died to go to heaven. It took 9 days to go to the underworld. That's why on the residential palace there are 9 door entrances, and over here where Nasari is sitting, there are 13 door entrances, which represent the 13 levels of heaven, and the residential represents the 9 levels of the underworld. Okay? Okay? But when they gave them life, the rules were to adore the gods. But as the Mayas multiply, they start to go against their gods. So what the gods did, they destroyed that creation with water, with rain. Okay? Part of creation, what they did, they climbed the tallest trees. What the gods did, they transformed that creation into what we have today, the monkeys. Okay? The second creation, they were made of wood. When they gave them life, they noticed that they cannot kneel to adore the gods. So what they did, they destroyed them with fire. The third creation took a long time for the gods to come around the table and discuss a new one. The corn god stand and said, let's create the Mayas as my image. That's when they're babies, they elongate their skulls. They put headdress. Okay? There's on the side of the building, there's a mask of a sun god with a cross eye. The Mayas believe that their sun god has a cross eye. So when a baby burns, they put a red bit here at the center. So that muscle of the eye will focus on that red bit. As the baby grows, it goes cross. Okay? The Mayas practice many things.
Climbing El Castillo.
This is exciting.
They must have had long legs too. Come on, baby.
I'm coming.
You were a ruler that fell down this thing. You must be really embarrassed.
Oh my god. Mindset.
Wow.
Petition to the gods.
So yeah, because when we were coming up, we zoomed over a little, bent over.
Most people believe that the man or shark person, that is not true. I used to work more than 10 years with archaeologists. I used to find barrels more than 6 feet long.
Wow.
They believe that only good food come to the high class, more healthy people.
Wow.
Tired?
Not getting that shade.
Tired of what?
Climbing these stairs.
5 stairs are near tired? Oh my god.
Yep. How many more we got?
She may.
150 more.
Okay, guys, let's go. This way.
Climb, bend over, makes it a little easier.
Were you here when he said, well, they made you do that?
What?
They made the steps tall, so when you were climbing,
You had to
you
do
had to
it.
bend down and stick out.
I was just telling her that. Wow, I ain't
Yeah,
here.
that's exactly right.
I'm afraid of heights too, so bend over.
You want to get on the inside?
Yeah, do it.
View from here. Take one of your best pictures.
Good, I got it. Baby, you okay back there behind me?
Wow.
Wow, look at that view.
Grab your pictures.
Look at that, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Look at that intricate stone. We'll take one over there.
That's crazy.
My colleague there, taking a nap.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
He's taking a nap.
Black thing over the tree.
monkey.
Oh, you good?
This is Toko frieze. It was discovered in the 1950 by the archaeologists. So the archaeologists believe that this Toko, it was all the way around, like a belt. So right now it's only to the east and to the west side. So the original stucco dates to the 800 AD. And according to the archaeologists, they believe that this was painted blue. I will be pointing with my laser in the center, in the lower part. You see the laser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it. It's green.
Okay. That big mask, that mask here represents, right there, no nose is missing. So that mask represents Chak, the rain god. So Chak here represents good and bad god, because he represents rain, thunder, lightning, and hurricane. Okay? If you see to the right and left of Chak, there is a sign that looks like a U, right there. And there is another one to the right. So those two U represent the moon god, the eggshell, god of medicine, health, and fertility. If you see the U to the right, at the end there is another mask. Right there. That's it?
Yeah.
And there is another one to the left at the end. Right there. So those two masks represent the Pash god, the music god. So but at the same time, he represents the secretary of the Mayas, the Seba. Because the Seba represent the center axis of the Mayan world or the Maya cosmos. Because the Seba connect heaven, earth, and the underworld. Okay? So the Maya believe that the branches of the Seba tree holding the sky. So they believe that water comes through the Seba tree to the underworld. So they believe that the root of the Seba tree, it was a stalactite, dripping water. So they used to put a pot there to collect that water. They call it holy water. And that's why the Maya believe that the world was flat with four corners. You believe in that? No. No? So the Maya believe that the world was flat with four corners. Each corner is one of the gods. We call it bakabs. Two persons are doing this. What are they doing?
Raising the roof.
Holding the sky. If you see the U to the right and the mask to the end, above that, there's one person there. Is it? Is it? And there's another one to the left at the end, but head is missing, right there. In the other side, we're going to see only one, but he's doing this, lifting dirt. Supposed to be another one, but one, the water washed it away. And that's why they believe that there was 13 layers to heaven and 9 layers to the underworld. If you see the long building back there, there's 9 doorways. So 9 represent the 9 layers to the underworld. Here is 13. So 13 represent the 13 layers to heaven. So behind is 7. Why 7? So 7 represent the true heaven. Who live in the heavens? The gods. Leaders. Because leaders, they believe that are the gods too. Like me and you, we're not allowed to climb here. But today we're climbing. Okay? So this is the surface. It was not 13 like this and it was not 9 like this. It was 6 steps up, 7 through heaven, and 6 steps down. So the Maya believe that the sun will travel at 13 layers. But in the afternoon, sun loses power. And that's why I select jaguar. Because jaguar is the most powerful animal. It's a nocturnal animal. And only the jaguar can defeat the underworld, named Chibalba. Chibalba, he was the god of evil, darkness, and death. So the jaguar will travel in 9 layers. First step down, 5 was the underworld, and first step up. So the next day, jaguar transformed again into the sun. That was a cycle, and that was reincarnation. So that's why volunteer and not volunteer sacrifice. If you're a volunteer, you travel only the 13 and then come back to the surface. That was reincarnation. If not, you need to travel a 9 and you need to defeat the underworld. But that never happened. That means that we'll stay in hell forever. So that's why when you visit cave, you see a lot of pots. Tombs, there is a lot of pots. Because when that person dies, their family will make sure those pots will be full of water and food. Because they believe that to go for a very long journey and they'll come back to life after death.
Let's go.
Am I going around this?
Everybody started singing that song.
Watch it, baby. Wow. Don't fall.
It's so cool. Okay, teamwork, okay? I'll pass the message, that person needs to pass the message to the other person.
All right.
See that block? Watch your head, especially kids, okay? Watch your head with that block there.
Okay.
More up will be a right hand railing.
Okay.
After the railing, to the right.
Watch your head, right hand railing, after the railing to the right.
Watch your head here.
Pass it down.
Block.
Yeah, pass it on. Watch this rock. Wow. Woohoo! Pause.
Here's that smart. Honeymooners?
No.
Girlfriend?
No. We've
We're
been
married
How
6
many?
years.
6 now?
6 years.
He just left our daughter on the ship.
She wouldn't. She's
She-
5.
Yeah,
She would not have liked this
No.
time.
she would have been carrying her.
Yes,
He
sir.
could not have done that.
I am not going down like that. You guys are crazy.
Okay. Alright, let's do it. Wow.
Follow me here, close to the wall.
Whoa!
Stay close to the wall.
Close to the wall. Oh my gosh.
Stay close to the wall. Stay close to the wall.
Woo!
Right there.
Wow.
Try to get more closer. Go back there. I'm gonna just keep right there and take one.
Don't put my spot.
2,500 years old.
Guatemala. Oh, whoops. I'm not Guatemala.
Okay? If you see Guatemala, only the vegetation divide the country. If you're done with the picture, use the alley, go to the other side.
I was in Florida 2004 with my parents.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first tour I have to translate English and got practice a lot.
You're doing good, man. You're doing very
Yeah,
good.
I was in many tours since
got
then.
water, we got food, we got shade. We're good to go.
I like traveling. So.
Now, what other places have you seen?
Ready to go?
Where have you gone?
I guess so. This year are we ready to go? Green. Then I went to London for 1 week, and then to Scotland around Europe.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to Scotland.
You have.
Oh,
The islands are really fascinating.
I'm
The
actually.
streets are,
Yeah, I've heard of them.
but yeah.
We're actually Scottish origin, so Clan MacLeod, all that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
This is so cool.
Yeah, be careful.
I will. I will try.
But in Germany it was 38 degrees
Whoa.
Celsius
Oh.
when we left.
So that's what, 50-ish Fahrenheit or
Very
something?
hot.
Oh, okay.
Didn't know it could be that hot.
Yeah, that's true.
And the whole week normally.
That is insane. What do we got here?
There's bass.
turn on your flash and see what happens.
Oh no, I'd rather not. Not on my honeymoon. Maybe I'll sacrifice him.
Be careful, make sure you have your right hand free. Raise the right hand railing.
Thank you.
Raise the right hand railing. Watch your step, very slippery steps, okay?
Yeah. Thank you, thank you.
See what kids are free.
Yeah.
When we went on that trip, Emmy was 5. It was pre-pandemic, and little kids were free on that tour we took, and we definitely saw why, because we would have had to carry her the whole time up all of those steps and down all those steps, and it was already hot and exhausting. So Emmy actually stayed on the ship, and I don't think she regrets that choice.
All right.
Woo!
Good morning. Look, there's
Going to fall. Getting off. Oh yeah, that's all that's left. Do. My body's so hot it just gave up. Like, it's not even telling me it's hot anymore.
Well, it still is.
Your name is on the presentation. You had perfect attendance last fall. One of my friends just sent me a text. I guess they're having their PD meetings today, and she said, your name was in the presentation. You had perfect attendance last fall.
Congratulations.
What happens if you go to the beach and you don't add sunscreen? Start to get red, and after that you start to peel. The same thing
Yeah, it's
happens to the tree and
unbelievable.
sun shines. They get more red and start peeling around. See how the skin starts to come off. So that's why I call it tourist tree. And the red ones, those are the tourist tree. Another one here, another one here. They found a panel. We call a panel with hieroglyphic writing. This is a Mayan context. This shows an event, what happened here. Okay? So they continue also, and what they found there, they found one of the largest tombs discovered here at Xunantunich. The Mayas, what they do, they build cemetery. What they build one side, they will build it to the other side. What they built here, they will build it to the other side. See that building over there? Cemetery. Okay? So what they found inside here?
Can I look inside?
Yes, you can take a pic there. And one of the largest tombs. Archaeologists believe that all Mayan sites were ruled by kings, okay, nobles. But what they did, they make a DNA test to the tooth. A month ago, they released the information, and they were amazed that it was a queen that was found there. Her body was laid to rest. She died at the age of 40 years old. Okay? Very young. But at that time, the lifespan of a Mayan was up to 52 years. Okay? That's the lifespan of a Mayan at that time. So 40 years was old age. Old age. Okay? She was discovered with 32 complete vessels or pottery around her. She has the jaws of a jaguar on her chest. Have you seen this movie Apocalypto by Mel Gibson? Yeah. Where these warriors, they use attires made of jaguar skin, okay? Jaguar's bones or jaguar jaws. So this lady was found, probably she was, when she died, she was covered with an attire made of jaguar skin just because it deteriorated. But the jaws, the lower jaw of the jaguar was on her chest, okay?
Spread the word. Tell your family, tell your friends, and tell your enemies too. Your tour guide Therese, my tour company Chaka Adventure, the bus driver, and the bus company wants to thank you very much for including.
So that was our excursion from our cruise ship into Belize to Shoe-nan-two-nitch, and we also got lunch, so that was really cool. Our bus broke down on the way back, and they were very apologetic. our tour guide told us that Belize relies heavily on tourism. So I don't know how they've been doing in the pandemic. But I do recommend that you make it into Belize if you get a chance. If you are adventurous, if you like hiking, if you like history, it was amazing. And I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time,
Keep roaming.